to my gardening vlog. This week, it's all about gardening challenges. First, I've got to deal with rust on my garlic. Then, I've got white rot on my shallots. And finally, the chocolate spot on the broad beans. It's a roots day on the moon phase calendar, and I am dealing with my garlic. So my garlic has rust, which is a right pain because rust is something really difficult to deal with. If you have any miracle cure, please put a comment down below and tell me, because I'm just going to cut the infected leaves off this garlic. Hopefully I can leave it in for a bit longer because it's not ready yet. And then I hope I'm going to get some bulbs. The interesting thing is the elephant garlic just here, you can just see here, is not affected at all. So obviously elephant garlic is a strain of garlic that you can grow that you don't get rust in. Fancy that. Anyhow, I did go over to the allotment and I did go for a little bit of a walk to see what other people's garlic was looking like, and everybody seems to have rust. I mean, it's kind of my fault because I did have this covered and I had it covered for allium leaf miner, but I double netted it. So I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut or pull the leaves off that have rust, and it's quite a lot of leaves, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that the stalk then will be okay. So rust leaves, try not, if you do have rust on your garlic, try not to put them on the compost because it's a fungal disease and it will spread, unfortunately. Yeah, so I don't know, I might be lucky. See, when you pull the stem, when you pull the leaves down off the stem, and I'll show you a close-up of this, underneath is fine, there's no rust. And what does rust do? So rust stops the leaves photosynthesizing, and when they can't photosynthesize, they don't grow. So the bulb actually stops growing, and that's the pain about rust. Yeah, this is pretty bad. So yeah, and you'll see, I'll just show you if I come up close here. So you see these little kind of like pustules on there, that's the rust. And then eventually it goes very yellow, the leaf, and the leaf dies. And that's not very good for a bulb that's forming underneath. So I'm going to go through all of this garlic here and see what I can salvage and just hope for the best, really. It's right pain. So yeah, like I said, if you've got any miracle cures, please let me know. See you later. It is harvest day here on the allotment today, and we have just harvested. I'm going to show you because I'm very excited. The first lot of shallots. The only problem is, and isn't there always a problem, that there was a little bit of rot on the bottom, and I'm just going to show you what I mean. So, you see that? That's a little bit of rot. And alliums get this thing called white rot. It's it's quite an issue, actually. I'm going to do this while I'm talking to you. It's quite an issue because once white rot gets into your soil, it's not very preferable to grow alliums in that spot again for quite a few, well, years really. So I'm just checking on this. So I'm going to prepare these shallots exactly like I would prepare onions, but where there's any rot, if the rot has gone into the actual onion or shallot bulb, I'm taking it home, we're going to use it straight away. If it hasn't, they're going into the greenhouse. Mr. N and I are here both doing this job. I quite like this job. Do you like this job, Mr. N?
I can think of others I prefer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take off one more layer and I'm going to see whether this is the rot gone. If not, this one's coming home with me. So I grew 2 varieties here and I sowed them in modules on the 8th of February. They've gone into one bed here on the allotment. I've got a little bit on another bed. Can I have that knife, Mr. N, and I'll swap you? Thanks. And they have done amazingly well. So we've got Red Sun and we've got Golden Gourmet. The Red Sun are incredible. I don't know. Do you think that'll be all right, Mr. N? Look at that. Is that rot in there?
Let's try and try it.
Let's show the viewers and ask them. Look, is that rot in there? If it is, let me know and I'll put this one aside. So if you've grown shallots, I really haven't grown shallots before. These were sets. Did I say that? But these were sets. And I've showed you before in a video, but I'll say it again, that when your alliums are ready, they start pushing out of the ground. And so what I do is every time I go into my kind of allium bed, I give them a little bit of a wiggle on by the top leaves. And if they start to move and come out of the ground, then they're ready. Yeah, see, this one's different. This is better, I think. Okay, I might leave that other one. But yeah, if you have any, if you do shallots quite a lot and you know what rot and everything looks like, it'd be great if you could leave a comment below because, like I said, I'm a little bit new to this here. But, you know, also we've had so much rain, so I'm not surprised that these are a little bit kind of wet underfoot. Yeah, so all you do is you take the kind of outer skins off and then they dry just like a normal onion. And that is our shallots then, hopefully, well, most of the winter. So there you go. Isn't that a beauty? That's the Red Sun. The Red Sun's much better than the Golden Gourmet. Look at him. Look at the difference. That piddly little thing. So yeah, Red Sun is on the list again next year. That's for sure. Yeah, so today it's a little bit windy. Well, a little bit. It's windy and cold still today. We're waiting for it to warm up. Yesterday was terrible. The day before was pretty terrible as well. But it's getting better, apparently, for June. So that's very exciting. And then we can do planting out of things like squash and corn. Look at that. That's a beauty, isn't it? So Mr. N and I are just about finished preparing our onions, our shallots. And I just wanted to say something here on Instagram, on YouTube about preparing your onions. When you, and shallots, if you're going to prepare them and take off the outer casings, because we had to because there was a little bit of rot on the outer casings, try not to cut back the roots too much. If you cut them back like that, you've broken the seal of the actual shallot or the allium, and then they're more susceptible to getting things going in. They can have bugs going in, they can have rot going in. So try and always leave some root on the bottom of the shallot. And yes, the roots here a little bit is damaged, but hopefully these will then dry out. We're going to dry them in the greenhouse and hopefully they'll dry out. But usually when this happens, and I mean, Mr. N's done quite a few because I forgot to tell him.
Sorry.
we're going to see whether these are going to keep okay. If they don't, then we're going to have to bring them home, and I might freeze them, or I might pickle them. So all is not lost. Where did this one come from? Mr. N. But see, with the onions here, so I'm just preparing these onions, taking off the outer shell, but I've left that much root on the end there, so I haven't broken into the seal of the bottom of the bulb. So there you go, a little bit of information. But on a brighter note, I wanted to check my carrots that I overwintered, and I got a very nice surprise when I pulled one out, because this is a perfect carrot. Yummy, yummy. I just want to show you this lovely tart that I just made. So this is with my last chard, Swiss chard, and I put some leeks in as well. This is all overwintered stuff. There's a little bit of cheddar cheese in there, and there's a puff pastry crust, and I'm just about to chop into it for dinner. Looks good, doesn't it? And then after that lovely charred cheddar and leek tart, I sent Mr. N over to the allotment to deal with our broad beans, because as you can see, we have chocolate spot. Now, I've never had chocolate spot before on my broad beans, but this is again another fungal disease, and I'm not surprised because of the rain we've had. Anyhow, he went in there and he dealt with matters. He cut off most of the stalks and then pulled off quite a lot of the actual leaves. And as you can see, we have a trug full of leaves here from the broad beans. They are looking quite nice when you delve into them, but he did a really fantastic job taking the tops off, and hopefully we will be able to eat these lovely yummy beans. Hello and welcome to day 31 of your May Sew Along with Susie B.
Yay!
Well, that's it. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and I hope that you did sow a seed or two. I had some lovely comments from people, and I'm glad that I entertained you along with my sidekick here. And let's hope that we get some proper veg out of what we sowed when the winter goes away.
What did you sow?
I've sown radish, beetroot, carrots, leeks and fennel, sweet and parsnips, kohlrabi, lettuce, cabbage, basil, sweet corn and cucumbers, potatoes, squash, spring onions, courgette, nasturtiums, violas, coriander, chard and calabrese, cauliflowers, beans and Brussels sprouts.
What about purple sprouting broccoli?
And purple sprouting broccoli.
And tomatoes.
And tomatoes.
What about the chilies?
And chilies. Yay! I'm going in for a lie down.